Hello, everyone, and welcome back. This is the 7th episode of The Inside Line. I am your host, Gabbi Hall, digital content editor at Ski Racing Media. If you're a regular listener, you know about our amazing sponsor, Team Ski Safe. I have worn my bracelet every day of my current trips to Europe so far, and Team Ski Safe bracelets are great for people involved in action sports like skiing, because they make it easier for first responders to treat you effectively in the event of an emergency. I have my emergency contact information on my bracelet, and the unique ID gives first responders access to important medical information I have loaded into Team Ski Safe's system. Team Ski Safe is the official medical bracelet of Whist Sports, and you can find more information about the bracelet and the great range of colors and styles by visiting their website at teamskisafe.com. And when you order your bracelet, remember to mention the Inside Line. Thank you guys so much for being here. First off, my voice is a little raspy this week. I have come down with what I am calling the World Cup flu. There's some sort of cough going around, but I guess that means I'm officially integrated into the tour. And that couldn't stop me, of course, from recording a really exciting episode for you all. And I'm really thrilled to say that this is the first episode I've recorded abroad. Specifically, I am in Courcheval, France for the Women's World Cup here. And we're going to go through all the excitement of the last week, particularly with a heavy emphasis on Val d'Isère, because I was able to talk to a lot of incredible athletes there. So I think let's dive right into our fresh track section, starting with St. Moritz. So, since our last episode, the schedule has been heavily weighted towards speed, starting in St. Moritz, Switzerland, which was supposed to be a Super G Alpine combined palooza. However, there were a lot of weather issues, and they had visits from the Maloja snake, which, if you are not familiar, it's the famous cloud that slithers onto the slope and thwarts races. I mean, it's infamous. Because it'll just create the most annoying bit of fog in the middle of the course. I mean, even on like a blue sky day, there'll just be a cloud sitting in the middle of the course. And on, in speed races, you can't run it if you can't see. So, anyway, that managed to thwart a couple days of racing. But they did manage to get off one Super G race on a windy day. And there was a surprise winner, Jasmine Flury of Switzerland. And this was not only her first win, but also her first podium. And I was able to catch up with her. And here's what she had to say about snagging her first World Cup win.
Yeah, it means a lot. I mean, you work, I worked so many years for that day. And now, it was amazing.
And she was joined on the podium by two of her teammates. Michelle Giesen of Switzerland took second, and then Tina Weirater of Liechtenstein took third. And I call Tina one of their teammates because she trains with the Swiss. I mentioned that a bit in episode 6. So if you haven't listened to that yet, I highly recommend it. I'm obviously biased, but definitely go back and take a listen. And on that day, Michaela Schifrin led the Americans in 20th place. But I think the real story for the U.S. team was Mancuso's return to the World Cup. She pushed out of the start gate in the Alpine combined, which they tried to make happen, but they were only able to pull off the slalom run. But it had been nearly 2 years since Mancuso had pushed out of the start gate. And after the race, she had to say, slalom is not my specialty, so it was a little bit funny to make it down, but I'm really hoping to get some practice in the Super G. It was pure joy. Of course, it doesn't feel good to be 7.9 seconds out, but at the same time, it's like a few good turns and I can make up a few seconds. So, Mancuso was super far off of the winner. Definitely wasn't an amazing run. Like she said, slalom isn't really her forte. But she did make a comeback. She's an Olympic gold medalist. So I think everyone is watching her a bit to see if she will actually be able to return to full health. I think she said before that she still has hip pain, and it's very hard to ski through pain like that. So it'll be interesting to watch. I think everyone should keep an eye on her. I mean, she's done a few races in Val d'Isère since then and been quite a few seconds out, but she does tend to pull through in bigger races. So keep an eye out for her. I do have to say, because I was in Val d'Isère covering the men's races that weekend when they were in St. Moritz, my coworker Sean wrote all about her return. I will put a link below the podcast so you can read more about what he saw in the race. I think it's a great way to get reacquainted with who she is and what she's hoping to do this season. And then after St. Moritz, the ladies tour joined me in Val d'Isère, France, and we basically had nonstop snow there for a week. On the day of the men's slalom, which was the weekend before the women's speed races, we had about 2 feet of wet, heavy snow in one day. I mean, it was, I think, the hardest I've ever seen it snow in a really long time. It was pretty phenomenal to watch. I mean, it was a tech race, so it was easier to get off. But because of the weather conditions and the snowfall throughout the week, they actually ended up canceling the 2 downhill training runs for the ladies. And so instead of running a downhill and a Super G, they opted to run 2 Super G races. And on Saturday, Lindsey Vonn took her 78th World Cup win, which puts her just 8 wins away from matching Ingemar Stenmark's all-time wins record. For those of you who don't know, she already has the most wins of any woman in the sport. So now she's chasing the men's record. And I have to say, when it comes to Vonn, people are really drinking the haterade these days. I mean, she'll always have fans and people that believe in her regardless of anything that happens or anything she says. But since her comments on Trump in the last week or so, the political pundits of the world have come out in full force. If you're not familiar, she basically said that she told CNN in an interview that she wouldn't attend a White House visit if she was invited as part of the Team USA Olympic team. And that sparked a lot of controversy online. So after her win, I asked her a little bit about this and what the win felt like in relation to everything that was being said about her, really outside of the ski world.
On the internet the last week, there have been mixed comments about you, but does it feel good to sort of win and prove the doubters wrong?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm not a washed-up old hag, anyways. I think I proved myself, and karma definitely comes back around. I got some good karma coming my way.
Has it been hard to deal with all of the online conversations that have happened? I mean, do you pay that much attention?
Yeah, I mean, it's never nice to have someone say that they hope that you're in a wheelchair defecating in a bag. You know, that's never a fun thing to read. But at the same time, there's always going to be people that hate you, and that's just the world we live in. So I'm just going to be me. I'm enjoying my time here with my dad, with my team. Everyone's been so supportive, and, that's what it's all about.
And, to all you people out there thinking, ugh, she's talking about Vonn again, never fear. I am here to talk about all the other amazing ladies on the podium that day. Sofia Goggia earned second place, her first podium result of the season. If you have not listened to our episode with her from the fall, give it a listen. The link is below. It's a great way to get to know her. And then attacking Viking, Ragnhild Mowinckel made her podium debut in third. Attacking Viking is another way to say Norwegian, just an FYI. And Ragmo, as she's known, had one fourth place finish previously. So she's been on the cusp of this podium spot for a while. And it was really exciting to see in person. I mean, anytime you're around one of these ladies, when they hit a major milestone like this, their energy is contagious. And Ragmo was no different. So I want to play you a clip from our interview that day, and hopefully you can feel some of the fireworks too.
Well, first off, congratulations on your first podium. What's going through your head right now?
Oh, it's only fireworks right now. I'm so excited, and I've been longing for this for a really long time now, and I feel like I've been so close but still not there, and now I finally reached the podium, and I'm so excited, and yeah.
And we've had kind of a strange couple days where we've been waiting and waiting. We finally got a race off. Did you have a good feeling when you got up this morning?
Actually, I did though. From the start, I know, like from seeing the course and actually being surprised on how much they done and how good it was, I was thinking this might be a great day, and now at least I'm giving it my best shot, and we'll take it from there. And I felt like I did that, and it took me here, so I'm very happy about it.
So outside the top three, I also have to mention Loren Ross of the U.S. It was awesome to see her get a top 10 finish so soon after her comeback. I mean, her injury at U.S. Nationals was pretty gnarly last year, and she seems to be coming back on strong. You know, when I interviewed her, she said that she was still trying to get over some of the fear that something like her crash could happen again. But I think with a top 10 finish so soon, you can see that she's got the feeling back on her skis, and hopefully we'll see big things from her this season. And to close out the first day of Super G racing at Val d'Isère, I was actually able to catch up with Lara Gut briefly, like 2.5 minutes briefly. I mean, when you get to this level of athlete, interviews are practically measured in seconds, and I'm not CNN or the New York Times, so I sit, somewhere in the middle of the priority totem pole. But I will take what I can get. And before we get into it, if you don't know Lara, she's a Swiss athlete who won the World Cup over a globe. She tore her ACL back in February at World Championships, so she's still working her way back to full form.
How do you feel about the start of your season so far?
Well, I'm happy to be skiing. That's the most important thing in the end. Of course, I'm not skiing the way I want or how I can, but well, I think I just need to race, and it's gonna come. So I'm taking it step by step, and it's at least getting better day by day.
And your crash in St. Moritz was pretty gnarly. How is your knee feeling after that? Do you still feel 100%?
Yeah, I'm fine. I mean, that's part of the game, and I think it's not, well, it was not the first time I crashed, and probably it's not going to be the last time I crash. I hope it's just the last time I go into the net, but that's part of the game, and we know that, and yeah, I'm feeling all right. I mean, the day after I was a little bit sore, but that's, I know, I mean, that happens, but my knees are fine, and I'm happy I can ski.
And I know you're focused on your results and things like that, but the Swiss team seems very strong this year. You guys seem to have a very good squad and speed. How do you feel about the team's performance as a whole?
Yeah, well, that's great. I mean, when I came in the team years ago, we were the best team in the world in Super G, so I was used to have around me a strong team, and then a few girls quit, and it took a little bit of time to get back on track, but it's great. I mean, we have a great team, and the girls are nice. I like to be with them, even if I'm training on my own during the summer, but it's cool to come back and have fun with them, and it's great to see they're finally getting the result they deserve.
And I want to jump a little to the off-season. That head video just came out, the motivational video, which is pretty funny. Was that fun to shoot and have everyone in one place?
Yeah, well, it was really weird, but it was great because we weren't alone. I mean, if you're doing something like that with a team, then it's fun. If you're alone, you're just like, no, it's weird, I cannot. But it was awesome, and I mean, seeing, for example, Kjetil acting, well, it was really great and fun.
Do you have like a favorite memory from that trip?
Well, it was cool because Anna Veith is one of my favorite girls on the circuit, and we were together, so it was cool to spend a day with her. And yeah, I mean, the Rebel team, it's a great team, so it's fun to be with those athletes.
Thanks again, Lara, for taking the time to chat with me. Now we're going to make our way into day 2 of Super G in Val d'Isère. When Vonn actually decided not to race, it was at the venue. It was the first day we'd seen blue skies in a while. And it was interesting because I remember sitting at the bottom of the inspection. I was waiting to do a couple interviews, and she came down very quickly after inspection opened. I mean, she's generally a relatively fast inspector, but it was surprisingly fast. It seemed kind of odd. And then within an hour or so, she tweeted that she was deciding not to start, that her knee was sore. She didn't indicate which, but she's, had injuries in both. Saying that her focus was the Olympics. I should say reiterating that her focus is the Olympics. She's Lindsey. I wouldn't say this feels atypical for her. She does what she wants, and frankly is one of the most successful female World Cup skiers, if not really the most successful female World Cup skier of all time. I think she's earned the right to make those decisions without criticism. But we'll leave that point alone. That made room for some other ladies to stand on the podium. And Anna Veith snagged her first win in about 2 years, and it was in a very emotional moment for her. I was able to talk with her after the race, and I think you can hear the emotion in her voice. So here's what she had to say about this first victory.
It's pretty emotional today because I'm thinking about all the days where I was down on the bottom after my injuries and didn't know if I can ski again, if I can race again. And now to be on the top of the podium is, it's unreal, I think.
So for those of you who aren't hardcore ski racing fans, Veith is the reigning Olympic Super G champion, so she'll be looking to defend that gold medal in Pyeongchang in February. She has also won a World Cup overall globe, and she's been a world champion in 3 different disciplines over the course of her career. So she's been wildly successful, and so it's nice to see her getting back to her full form. One of the points that was made in the press conference afterwards that not only was Veith very excited, obviously, but a lot of the other athletes were excited to see her back and racing to her full potential. And I think there were a lot of social media posts to that effect from other athletes. But my point is, she's kind of a big deal. People know her. I wonder if she has many leather-bound books in an office that smells of rich mahogany. And I hope you guys understand that reference. But I digress. Because that day, she was joined on the podium by Tina Weirater and Sofia Goja. And Weirater has been on the podium in all but one Super G this season. She actually crashed the first Super G in Val d'Isère, and she beat herself up pretty good, including fracturing a little bone in her left hand, which made it hard to grip her pole. It was actually undiagnosed at the time that she raced the second day, but she was having trouble gripping her pole, and when I talked to her after the race, she said that, the track was in better shape. The course crew had been able to clean it up well after all the snow, but she was a little worse for the wear and pretty sore. So, she was able to overcome that. She did an incredible job, ended up on the podium. And I think that just is a testament to her mental capabilities. It's always awesome to see her do well. And you know who else had stellar performances over the weekend? The Alices of the U.S. ski team. Alice McKennis, World Cup veteran, earned a career best 15th place Super G result. Her young teammate, Alice Merryweather, earned her first World Cup points. And Merryweather was last year's World Junior Champion in downhill. She made her World Cup debut at finals last season in Aspen, Colorado. She's pretty new to the White Circuit. So while we were on the ground, I checked in with her to see how she's adjusting to this new life and the chaos of the World Cup Tour.
So Alice, it's been a pretty good weekend for you here in Val d'Isère. How does it feel to have scored your first World Cup points yesterday?
It's a little relieving. I've wanted it for a long time, obviously, and I'm really happy that I finally got in there yesterday.
And you're the kind of newcomer on the speed squad. So what's kind of the most interesting thing you've learned about traveling on the World Cup so far?
It's a hard question. I've spent this year just trying to learn as much as possible. The whole prep period, I've been watching my teammates and seeing how they act, and especially now that we're in race season, I think it's been a lot more fun than I expected it to be. I don't know if that's a bad thing to say, but I've had a lot of fun, and I really enjoy working with these teammates.
Can you tell me about your funnest memory so far?
That's a really hard question. It's all so fun. We went out and ripped some power runs a couple days ago here on the second canceled downhill training day, and we all just went out as a team, and it was really fun.
How important do you think is it to take advantage of powder days like that when you're on the road and kind of step away from the race course?
It's huge to be able take advantage of that. I think, part of the reason I was able to ski so well yesterday is because I had separated myself. I had lost sight of all the stress and anxiety that I'd had over not racing as well as I'd wanted in Lake Louise and St. Moritz. And so I think, having days like that is so important to just step away from it all.
And my last question is, what are your plans for the holidays? Where are you off to?
I'm just heading home, spend a lot of time with my family. I'll be at Attitash, where I grew up skiing, so it'll be a lot of fun to be back east.
Nice. Well, congratulations on a great weekend.
Thank you.
Merryweather was also one of Ski Racing Media's Junior of the Year award winners last season, so it's always nice to see her doing well on the World Cup. And one important thing Merryweather mentioned was fun, which I'm going to use to transition into a wonderful conversation and a fun conversation that I had with U.S. Ski Team Press Officer Meg Harrod. I was actually invited to sit in on the women's speed team's annual White Elephant gift exchange, which includes coaches and ski techs and athletes. I think there was like 25 people that participated. And it was absolutely hysterical. Meg and I talked a little bit about it, but it got me wondering about the kind of camaraderie of the group. And so Meg sat down with me at her hotel in Val d'Isère, and shared some of her thoughts on this really unique group.
I wanted to get together with Meg today to talk about the U.S. Ski Team Speed Ladies, and a little bit about what their dynamic is like this year, because I sat in on Secret Santa last night, which was super fun. So I'll let Meg share a little bit about the Secret Santa tradition.
Awesome. Thanks, Gabby. Great to be here. I want to apologize in advance for my voice, as I have acquired a little bit of a travel cold here. We're not slumming it in Val d'Isère at all. Love it here. It's one of the favorite stops on the tour for the girls. Every year in Val d'Isère, we have a white elephant gift exchange and a little bit of a Christmas party for the team. And I think this year is probably one of the most participated events. We had 25 individuals from across servicemen to staff, physios, coaches, and then athletes as well participate. And it's just all in good fun, and they've been doing it for a long time. Chip White is now at the helm again as head coach for the speed team, and this is something that he introduced back in the day. I tried to ask Stacy Cook last night how long it's been, and it sounds like, I don't know, maybe 10 years, as long as she can remember being on the speed team.
Yeah, and he didn't really care to share
he didn't want
how long it's been around.
Our stand-in Santa Claus didn't want to age himself, so he did not disclose that information, but it's kind of morphed over the years, and Stacy Cook and Julia Mancuso and Lindsey Vonn are the ones who have been around the longest as veterans, and they're kind of in charge. Yeah.
And I think we have to talk about the most coveted gift of the night, which to me I think was the unicorn onesie.
No doubt. The unicorn onesie, I still don't, so since it's a white elephant, we don't know who purchased that onesie, but I'm guessing, I have a sneaky suspicion it's one of the ladies that are the Roche Speed unicorns. So that includes Lorraine Ross and Stacy Cook and Jackie Wiles. And who am I missing? This is bad of me. I can't miss whoever. I'll go back to it anyway. So these girls are all Roy sponsored athletes. Alice McKennis is the fourth, and the gift was first acquired by, I think, Loren's dad, and then stolen more than any other gift of the night, and ended up with PK, Paul Kristofic, the head coach, and everyone said that they were going to put in 10 to 15 euros so that he would wear it on the hill. So you're going to keep an eye out for that in the coming weeks. Let's cross our fingers.
But I think that speaks a lot to, like, the dynamic on the team, that, like, PK was around his team in a unicorn onesie.
Totally.
What's the vibe like? What's it like to travel with this, particularly the women's speed squad?
Yeah, I think that the speed teams are a rare breed. Their personalities are very different than the tech groups, and not in a better or worse way. It's just different. They're pretty free-spirited and outgoing, and
They are really, I think when you ski speed, you have to have this sort of unity or bond that you might not have in tech, because you're doing something that a lot of people would never think of doing, skiing upwards of 70, 80 miles per hour on the women's side and 90, 100 miles per hour on the men's side. It's a really unique group and kind of like a family. And so I really enjoy traveling with the speed team and the speed women. I'll be with them a lot this winter, and they're not only a deeply talented performing team, but they're also really close, from Lindsey to Julia and Stacy, and then the younger girls as well. They've created quite the bond, and today though the race was canceled, they went out and they free skied some powder on piste, and it's just a really good, tight unit. And that is not just the athletes, it's also the staff. And I think that we've come to a place, and this is my fourth season with the team, it's really changed. This year is the best and tightest it has been since I've been with the team.
That's pretty interesting. And you also mentioned yesterday not only the relationship amongst the girls, but like the relationship between like the athletes and their techs. Mm-hmm. I'm just wondering if you can like tell people a little bit about what you see that relationship as, because I think people don't necessarily understand how close like the athletes are with their techs.
Yeah, it's pretty special actually. I think I know all the servicemen very well, and the athletes as well, and I've watched them interact with each other. And I think one of the most special relationships and most notable relationships on the women's side is well, of course, Heinze and Lindsey get along very well. They've worked together for a long time. And I also think Loren and Alesh has been around for eons. He's great. He has a ton of experience, and not only is he her serviceman, which is a relationship that's really established and based on a strong foundation of trust, but he's also like a counselor and, I don't know, psychologist and big brother, and he's that way for not only his athletes but for the whole team. You know, when Loren had a bad day, she'll go and sit down with Alesh, and he gives the best hugs, and he's just a kind, deep spirit and soul. And I think that it's a really cool relationship that these guys have with their technicians. And when you have that bond, then you do not doubt them when you put your skis on and kick out of the start gate.
So we've gotten serious, but I think this particular group, I mean, I haven't spent a ton of time with them, but I feel like after like losing this, I have interviewed them enough this season that we're tight. But they're kind of a silly group, so I'm just wondering if they have any traditions outside of like Secret Santa, any like quirky things that they like to do, or race traditions or anything like that.
Ooh. Well,
that's like kosher to share, obviously.
Yeah. Of course. A lot of last night was not kosher to share, but it was fun, and it was, and the team does like to have fun, so that's great. Yeah, there are little things, but I mean, I think Eirik, the trainer, the women's strength and conditioning speed coach, he's got a really cool bond with them, and we on days off. That's a different thing about the speed teams. They do a lot of like team games on days off and on days where we have weather. And so we played volleyball this week, and they played snooker and soccer and speedball, and it gets a little bit competitive. I remember a few years ago playing speedball with Leanne Smith, and I was kind of scared of her because she's just got this intensity that's really awesome and unique. And so I think that's one of the things, like always up for an adventure, shopping in Val d'Isère, tea, let's explore culture. And that's something that's really special too about this team. When we were in Pyeongchang, and we went one day to the temples there, and it's really cool because they want to know more about the culture where they are, not just, it's beyond the mountain.
Definitely. Yeah, it's funny watching you guys play volleyball the other day, because you guys were like calling each other like nicknames and stuff, and then I got the impression that like, I don't know if do you guys pick different teams every time, or do you have like standing teams? Because I think you said to Karen Harjo that you had you hadn't like lost yet or something, so I was curious.
Yeah, we don't. It's different teams each time. But Eirik's in charge of picking them, and I think he's strategic about that. And yeah, we want to, it's kind of a fun environment, actually much less competitive than on the men's side when I play with them. But we're talking about making team uniforms. So we're going to get the puffy paint and bedazzler out and make something sparkly and fun. So yeah, and I had to say that Alice Merryweather, though she says she's not good, she definitely Bryce Benedict it a couple of times the other day, and she just like brought the heat and threw down. It's a good crew.
Is Bryce Benedicting a thing?
Bryce Benedicting is a thing because
sounds like a breakfast food, like Benedict. Benedict.
If you're on the other side of Bryce when he's about to hit, you have the look of terror and death in your eyes because he can put his arm up and not even jump, and it will hit the 10-foot or 3-meter line like that. It's crazy. Bryce is to be feared on the volleyball court.
Yeah, for those of you guys who don't know, Bryce is on the men's circuit. He's a speed skier, and he's what, like 6'7"?
He's the tallest guy, 6'7", yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny because he was not always that tall. I grew up with him. So
yes.
He all of a sudden got really tall, and it's very bizarre. Not bizarre, but like...
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, super tall.
He's super tall.
I would
and
be
he's
terrified.
The tallest guy in the circuit, and he is just... He gives the best hugs, too. He's awesome. But he's not a basketball player, so everyone should know that.
But he is
dunk.
a volleyball player.
He can... Yeah. Yes, he's a volleyball player-ish, like when he's in the front row. So, and he can dunk, but he can't play basketball.
We've gotten very sidetracked from the women's Alpine tour, but we had to talk about that because it's funny. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to ask you about is Karen Harjo is now on the speed team staff, and she's really cool because she's one of the few female coaches at the World Cup level. So has it been nice like having Karen on tour on the Speed Ladies stops?
Yeah, so Karen is actually the only female coach on the World Cup circuit between men's and women's tours. And she's really special. She's got this endless positivity, and it's not about, she approaches her job, it's not about being a man or a woman, it's about doing the best that she can do at her job. And I think it's really a special trait that she has and a good message that she has to, younger women who might want to get into coaching someday, because she was on the women's side, tech side, for a couple of years, and she did great on that side and was Raisy's coach, and it was awesome. And then she, wanted a change of pace, and she is loving the speed side, and the girls really like working with her, and she has this like quiet confidence that is so unique and beautiful, and she's just strong and a badass too. So it's good to work with her, and she creates a really strong dynamic with the team too.
Yeah, Karen's really cool. For you guys listening, I will put my article on her from last season or 2 seasons ago when she set the slalom course on the World Cup. She was like the first woman to ever set a World Cup slalom course, which is super badass. So I'll put the link below the podcast. But thank you so much, Meg, for sitting down with me. I know it's like a little bit busy, even though we have a couple days off here. And we'll have you back on
awesome
again this season.
Can't wait. Thank you so much, Gabby. Thanks, guys, for listening.
Thank you so much, Meg, for making some time for me. Always fun to chat. She is crazy busy handling, press requests from the men's and women's circuits for the U.S. team. But you've probably spotted her on the World Cup tour. Definitely keep an eye out for her on the World's feed. She occasionally sports a super epic black U.S. ski team onesie. It has a giant fur hood. It's very, it's like if Catwoman was in like a James Bond film where they were in the Alps or something, like this is the outfit she would wear. So based on that imagery, I'm sure you will be able to spot her very easily. She's just an amazing person, and I got to give her a shout out. She always really helps me out when I need info on anything that's happening on the circuit. But you guys, that, my friends, wraps up our 7th episode. Can you believe it? I can't believe we've been doing this since September. We will be diving into the excitement here at Courcheval in episode number 8 in just 2 weeks' time. After this, I am headed to Madonna di Campiglio in Italy for the men's night slalom before flying home for the holidays. And then I stay in the U.S. until I head to South Korea for the Olympic Games, which is so exciting. I can't believe it's coming up so soon. I hope you guys are really excited for what we find out when we're over in South Korea. If you guys are loving the podcast, please leave a 5-star review of Whisk Sports Radio on iTunes. I also welcome any ideas for guests or issues you'd like to see discussed on this podcast. Feel free to leave a comment below. Tweet me at Hall_Gabbi. Find me on Facebook. I am totally open to suggestions. More episodes of The Inside Line can be found at wispsports.com, skiracing.com, and just about anywhere you listen to podcasts, including iTunes, the Google Play Store, TuneIn, Stitcher, and Spotify. Just search for Whisk Sports Radio. With over 700 episodes across 30 unique shows and a global audience of 1.5 million, Whisk Sports Radio is the world's largest network of podcasts for women's sport. I will be back in 2 weeks' time to ring in the new year. In the meantime, happy holidays, everyone, and I will talk to you soon.